What's happening, everyone? Welcome to the Sportscast. It's me, Andy Grant. We've got Gary, we've got Musk. We're in the Feathers, bottom of Harris Drive on Hawthorne Road. Massive thank you again to them for letting us record in here. This weekend, you've got coming up Paul McKenna on Friday, then the small matter of the Merseyside Derby, 12:30 Saturday, and then also David McKendrick will be on after that. Hopefully not singing the blues.
Just to help someone, help one set of supporters drown the sorrows.
Right, getting straight into it, we have got massive news, which we've known about for a few weeks now, and I'm dead happy to announce that the podcast has a new main sponsor, the biggest sponsor we've ever had. Drum roll, please. So proud to announce that Peter Jackson and Hill Dickinson are going to be sponsoring the podcast for the next few months. Absolutely buzzing. When I told you, you just couldn't believe it, could you?
Oh, no.
It's like a Michael Edwards style deal I've been working on with my good friend Peter. And yeah, Peter and Hill Dickinson are going to come on board and be sponsoring the podcast. And we're going to be getting Peter and his colleague Matt in a few weeks to talk about all Hill Dickinson, everything you need to know about them, the sponsorship deal that they got over the line with Everton. Obviously, that was the second biggest deal they've done at the summer, the podcast being the number one. And give us just a little bit more detail on Hill Dickinson. I know you were just saying even before, weren't you, that even as a blue, kind of, despite Hill Dickinson, yeah, I've got the 1810, they've been established in the city, so one of the longest running businesses in the city. Yeah, you've even admitted even some blues are a bit like, don't really know much about Hill Dickinson, yeah.
Yeah, we were really curious, and it was like, I mean, some of my mates who are a little bit more economical were like, how's this even happens? You know, they got a turnover of, I think it's 110 million, and the stadium deal apparently is worth 10 million a year, so it's a big investment on their behalf. And I think a lot of people who maybe don't understand sponsorship or marketing as well as others, I'm not saying I'm in either camp, probably somewhere in the middle, and wondering like, how's that value for money for Hill Dickinson? Obviously it's a great financial deal for Everton, no doubt about it, but a lot of fans are curious, like, how's that even been put together? How's it work for them? How's it work for us? And you know, the guys who are coming on are hopefully going to
I know Peter Jackson really well, so it'd be great to have him on. And the funny thing is, he's a big red. So he's former CEO, and he's a big red. So I think when the deal got done, a lot of people going to him and going,
I believe the director of marketing or head of marketing or whatever it is at the top is a big blue.
Is he?
Yeah, so I'm led to believe.
Well, we'll find all that out soon. But yeah, massive thank you to Peter Jackson and Hill Dickinson, new proud sponsors of the Lego podcast.
That means you're going to have to be a bit more...
Does it? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
It does. You definitely have to wait every now and again. And
I'll stop
not dig in too much on the stadium, that's for sure.
It's the greatest stadium in the country.
Well, I keep getting... my mate who do the Across the Park podcast with Mills, he keeps on having to remind me to call it the Hill Dickinson Stadium because he keeps saying Bramley Moor.
Oh, you'll definitely have to now, yeah.
So yeah,
definitely have to. So yeah, big thanks to them. Right, from that high buzzing about that, we will have to talk about the sad news that it's everyone I think who enjoys sport this week, and that was the passing of Ricky Hatton. To be honest, it hit me harder than I thought it would, really, for two reasons. I'm part of a business kind of leadership group called Be The Standards, which you've been to a couple of times, haven't you? You know a lot of the guys there. And one of the speakers they had in once was Ricky Hatton. So Ricky sat there, spoke for an hour about his career, his struggles, the highs, the lows. Amazing to listen to, really kind of encaptured the whole audience. But then afterwards I went and spoke to him. And I spoke to him a little bit about the similarities in his story and mine, in the sense that when he stopped boxing, well, even in the boxing, he had the highs and the lows in boxing. I mentioned about in the Marines, you have the highs and the lows of, joining the Marines, then obviously when I got injured, but then also the kind of lows of losing your purpose. Once I left the Marines, he spoke about his loss of purpose after boxing. He turned to drugs and drink. I turned to drink and gambling. And he just gave me like 10 minutes of his time talking about, the struggles with it and kind of give me some advice. And just to know that a fella who's been on top of the world with all the boxing titles, all the adulation he's got, probably the most well-loved sportsman in the world, just standing to a lad from Bootle with one leg who was in the Marines and going, yeah, I know what you mean, mate. And that for me was massive. The other thing where it hit me hard was I've been lucky enough to become friends with his brother Matthew Hatton, in his own right, unbelievable boxer, European champion. And the last 2 years I've been on holiday with him on a road trip and sat in the back of a car from Manchester to Marbella with Matthew and learned all about, what it's like growing up in that sibling rivalry, and then you both come on and become boxers, and the highs and the lows, and I just absolutely gutted for Matty and the family as well. And although I think everyone's been gutted, haven't they, the last few days, because I think Ricky impacted everyone. But I think, yeah, I was just absolutely gutted. My heart goes out to all his family, and it just shows you, doesn't it? I think Suicide Prevention Week was on this week, I think, as well, or last week, I think.
I played in a charity.
Of course you did, sorry, yeah.
That day. Obviously, we shouldn't speculate. I know it's not public knowledge and stuff of what happened, but I think if you just focus on Ricky's struggles anyway, he obviously admitted that twice he's attempted suicide, and obviously was highly troubled by the,
it's the loss of purpose. That's
yeah,
a lot of it, you know.
Yeah, listen, I can't fully understand that, but mental health, certainly I can understand immensely through what my family's gone through and what my mum's gone through, and how people can change like that, and how suddenly something can hit them and change, the way they act, the way the perspective more than anything else. Like one day you can see the world in a particular way, and the next day it looks completely different, and that's just horrible to think that people go through that. And obviously in this case, it's almost unthinkable. It's someone who's achieved what he's achieved and has impacted the world, the country, inspires millions, cannot have that cannot see that. Do you know what I mean? And value it.
Yeah.
But look, that's the brain. The brain's so powerful, isn't it? And I think hopefully the family and his friends and like yourself can take comfort from is his legacy is so cemented. It's untrue. Like you haven't heard a person, whether it be on the radio, TV, or in the street, who's got a bad word to say about him. Like, and if you said that to anyone at the age of 20, look, at some point you're going to die, but when you do, the whole country is going to come to a standstill, and every person, to a man or woman, is just going to be, And
that was the big thing. I've seen so many, tributes come out for him this week, and I think I can't remember who it was who come out and said that Ricky's. I think it was what's the tall black lad who was who just did the he used to be a security guard for him. Coogan, is it Cassius?
Yeah.
He come out and he said, Ricky said to him, like, don't ever let me get too big for me boots. Like, I just want to be one of the lads who's done all right. So I think that was all he ever wanted, and I think that's why he probably was well, like, because you just looked at him and thought, despite being hard as fuck, you are just like the lad I can have a pint with in the pub. And I was trying to think about how I got into boxing. Not that I'm the biggest fan in the world, but the type of boxers that kind of really caught my attention. I think the first one was kind of Prince Nassim. I remember going to my cousins and watching him. But without doubt then, it was Ricky Hatton. Just seeing the amount of support he got, you thought, bloody hell, this fella's popular. But then you see him fight, and it's just kind of, it was almost like Mexican style, wasn't it? Just kind of going in and just like always on the front foot, always exciting. And I think he got to 38 fights before he obviously took the first loss. I think he only had 3 losses in his career, didn't he? And 2 of them were to some of the greatest, Pacquiao and Mayweather. But yeah, he massively inspired, millions of people, and just absolutely gutted he's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, boxing was like I went and trained, boxing when I was a kid, and I was never very good, but I was always really fit, so I could always keep throwing punches. I'd keep going till the end if we were sparring, and then when I got a little bit older, I the fighters I admired. When I was younger, it was like Nigel Benn, and it was like the scraps, and it was it was Barry McGuigan, it was Carl Froch, it was Joe Calzaghe, and it was Ricky Hatton. It was like you looked at him and thought, you know what, he's there's nearly everyone he fought were technically better than him, but he just had so much heart, so much desire, so much appetite, and his fitness levels and his intensity was just unmatched. And it was like that takes some serious work and commitment and dedication and bottle. And he has all those things in abundance. And
I think as well, anyone who's a bit younger, they'd probably look at Conor McGregor, how he kind of just went into the UFC and it blew up by taking all the Irish over there. People need to remember, like, Ricky was doing that, taking like 30,000 to Vegas.
From all over the country. Obviously, he had a heavy Manchester following, and we come into Blue Moon, and that was, was known as a Man City fan, but you only have to watch.
I've had loads of Man United mates texting me going, he's the only fella who'll make me sing Blue Moon.
Watch Gary Neville. Like, I've never seen Gary Neville in that state. He clearly wasn't bothered about the derby.
I was seeing that, yeah.
Consumed by, by the passing of Ricky, and I think his personality and his manner and everything he carries with him just transcended rivalry, transcended geography and all that. It was just pure, like, proud to be British, proud to be English, and that's there's not many people. In fact, I can't think of anyone else who's brought together a nation single-handedly like he has.
Rest in peace, Ricky Hatton. Right, on to some more positive news. Liverpool are playing shite and still winning every week, even when it's Europe. So we'll start with last weekend, then Burnley. Watched it with Musk in the boozer. Listen, we battered them, didn't we? It was, I don't know if you've seen it, like, we absolutely battered them. They didn't want to, I don't know the percentage stats, but if they were in our half more than 15%, I'd be shocked. Which is fine, I'm not having a go at them for that. That's what got them promoted. They're coming up against the champions, they've just got promoted. They're going to sit back, they're going to defend deep. And to be fair, they nearly got away with it. So I did feel a bit unlucky for them. But it was shocking. Why is he putting his hand up like that? Ex-Man United played him as well, wasn't he? Hannibal, wasn't it? Just terrible defending. But, the concentration levels to keep everyone at bay for 92 minutes. Maybe he got a bit tired, whatever it was. But Liverpool were fortunate again for the fourth time in the league, probably fifth when we talk about Madrid. And then you get the coolest man in the country, Mo Salah, to step up, which even a couple of lads were saying penalties. I think he'd missed the last two, hadn't he?
Yeah. Like, obviously it includes pre-season, like, but still.
Doesn't seem to miss them at important times, though. It sounds a bit mad that, like, I don't put him down as one of those clinical penalty takers of all time. But I got asked the question on our podcast on Tuesday. If there's one player who you want to see pull up in the warm-up, who is it? I said Mo Salah by a distance. Yeah. Because if he gets a chance or there's a moment in the game, he's going to take it, and he's the one who can win the game single-handedly. And out of nowhere, like, most of the players in the Premier League, if they're having a bad game, they get hooked. You just don't. He doesn't have a bad game because you just don't know when it's going to come.
Until the last minute. I think Arne Slot said that this week. He's one of the players that, I don't want to ever take off because you just never know. He steps up, really cool, slots it home 1-0. And then it just brings you in this kind of Devil's Club, all this kind of banter. Musk, what's the thing you put in there that's...
those 4 games or something?
Yeah, so it's...
92, 83.
It's gone 88 minutes, 90 plus 10, 83, 90 plus 5, and 90 plus 2 when we talk about Madrid. So 12 from 12 points in the Premier League, sitting top, and it's took, goals in the 88th, 90 plus 10, 83rd, and 95th minute to get the win. I think it's great. I am not, and I think it's great because it's not as if we're playing absolutely crap and then getting the last minute winners. We're playing. I think there was the probably second half against Newcastle where we let the 2-goal lead slip and they come right back in it. But that was a Monday night. It was at St James's Park. It was always going to be tough. You had the added kind of bite from the all Isak stuff going on. I think that's the only time we've been probably outplayed. I don't think Arsenal really outplayed us for kind of huge parts of the match.
I don't think that was a good game, full stop. Though,
it wasn't, but I mean, we didn't get battered by Arsenal and just sneak the 1-0, did we? I think we've probably deserved 3 points in probably 3 out of 4 of the games. But we turned it into 12 points and happy days. Happy days. And then we stick it on Liverpool for a second and then it goes into Atletico Madrid. Tough game. Well, didn't look like it was going to be a tough game. The first 5 minutes just blew them away and you thought, wow, this is going to be a rollover. I was actually at the last game, Atletico Madrid. Yeah. It was... my dad had just retired from the fire brigade. I took him to Vegas to watch Paddy the Baddy in the UFC. But on our way to Vegas, I went to Atletico Madrid away, where we got beat 1-0. Brought it to Anfield, and it was the last game before COVID. And it was when Adrian made a mistake because Alisson was injured. And then I was always moaning, if that game hadn't went ahead because everyone else got cancelled because of COVID, we would have had Alisson back. You never know what might have happened. Anyway... That Llorente scored.
I was going to say, is that 4 goals?
He scored 4. He's got 4 Champions League goals, and
all right, that, isn't it?
They're all against Liverpool, I think. Oh no, he's got 7 now.
I remember the last time he he scored at Anfield, and I thought, wow, he's some player, him, and he just didn't really kick on, does he? And he's been in and out of that team. He doesn't play consistently. But just going back to your point around like your form, you're winning the games and last minute winners. There's two ways you can look at it. Obviously, the way you're looking at it now, which is playing poorly, winning, scoring last minute winners, or stoppage time winners. Man United-esque in the 90s. That that's the closest and easiest comparison you can make. But then it's like, how long can you sustain that if the form or the performances? I know you're saying you deserve to win, but they've not been good performances, have they? I don't. They
haven't, but. And I started off the first few weeks of the season being quite negative. I've kind of switched completely now because I'm like 12 points from 12.
No, and I would if I was you. Because
I'm thinking the talent is in that squad.
It's going to click at some point.
It's going to click at some point. Don't forget, we've brought in so many new players. The atmosphere around the training ground, everyone clicking, getting to know each other. It's brand new for everyone. And yet we've still got 100% points on the board. So I know what you mean. It's not clicking. How long can this continue for? But I think it's almost the argument you made the other week when Man United played Grimsby. It should just be like, go and just play football, man for man, you're better than them. I think that'll get Liverpool through a few of the games where it's like that.
Do you know who's been really lucky? Just bear with me on this, Florian Wirtz. If you're not winning these games, suddenly everyone's going, hold on, 100 million. He's not scoring. He's not creating.
I know what you mean. Some people, I wouldn't have been one of those, but
I don't know.
Maybe social media.
I beg to differ. If we were sitting here and you got 5 points or 6 points from and you drew 3 games or whatever, or you'd lost 2 games and he'd made no impact apart from his running stats, which Sky bizarrely came up with. I think maybe if it's not you, there's a lot of people going 100 million. And
no, I agree. I mean, listen, there's people saying that
you're winning games, so it's like, listen, now the narrative is, all right, he's getting used to it. He's settling in. Other people are chipping in. That's just the way it is. You're playing for the top side.
No, listen, it's a fair point. And listen, there are people now who are already saying it. So God knows if
I already wish I didn't say that because I know what's going on. So that's the thing.
Oh yeah. Well, I think it's brewing, and I put in the group with Muskinat last night. I said Florian Wirtz to get either a goal or assist. Like, he never, but probably his best game, I'd say.
To be fair, you were close because there was a little. Was it 1-2 with Isak, was it?
Yeah, when Salah at the post.
And then he got himself in and around by the keeper, just missed out.
There was 2. There was one where he passed it to Salah at the post, and there was one where he took it down the keeper, and he never quite got on the end of it.
Him and Frimpong kind of like stumbled over a bit.
I didn't go to the game last night, but if you watched it on telly, you probably mightn't have seen it in the game, but there was some great little touches where he just makes pocket of space. Look at him smile at me.
Fucking should be as well. Great little touches.
But you say, I think... Listen, number one, he didn't pick to get sold for 100 million, did he? So it's like one of them. You're
the biggest critic of Jack Grealish over that, though, as well.
Yeah, but Jack Grealish never said I'm 100 million, did he? It's whatever people want to pay for him. And listen, let's be honest, I think every footy fan in the world can agree that some of the prices players are going for is ridiculous. So
no,
whether he is worth 100 million or not, that's besides the point, innit? That's what we paid for him.
I just think for him, I'm talking about him personally, he would have been feeling a lot of pressure right now. And it wouldn't have just been internal, it would have been external as well, pointing the finger at him because he's not contributed directly to a goal.
If you look at his stats, like contribution-wise, you'd expect him to have higher stats for the position and the price tag.
Yeah, exactly. So, but fortunately for him, fortunately for you, that's not the narrative because you're winning games and that's all that matters. And the fact he's in the team, you could argue, look, he's contributing to them victories. Whether he's getting assists or goals, he's in the team. Liverpool are winning. That's all that really matters, isn't it?
Yeah, no, listen, I agree. He hasn't set the world alight just yet, but I'm a big fan. I think he's gonna come good. And his song is a belter, but I don't really even know the tune of it myself. It's something like, and I'm dying to know the actual real song.
Bittle Strand, or
it's not Rio Goes to Shops in Bittle Strand. It's
Crosby Village.
We're fucking champions. I'm not even going to try and sing it.
Yeah, don't.
Have you heard it? No, Musk. The Florian Wirtz doing magic tricks or something.
Anyone who knows it, then you can leave a voice note on the Leggett broadcast or Leggett podcast Instagram.
Yeah,
so
just drop in me DMs with singing it, and then we'll play it next week. By
the way, in terms of what you were saying before about like Liverpool getting late winners and stuff like that. Did you see Andy Robertson's post-match stuff?
No, I didn't see it.
Basically, we're saying, like, we know that we can't be letting these slip because one of these days it's it's not going to be Liverpool getting a late winner.
Yeah.
We need to win simple, is what he was saying basically. Once we are 2 up, just fucking keep it at 2-0.
But I think, I agree, we can't keep doing it every week, and that, like I said before, I think it will click. But the other thing I say, and I think people have got short memories, I've got loads of United fans messaging me going, you jammy bastards.
Oh, no.
Man United done it all my childhood.
Yeah.
Like, all my childhood. So
there was literally a name called for that stoppage time. That's how much it was happening.
So, for Johnny, Ben, and all of you that listen, I know you do listen, you can all wind your necks in, because it happens. It used to happen through the 90s non-stop. So, if Liverpool have 5 games of doing it, happy days. Last thing, Isak, come on. You can't expect too much from him. I don't think he hasn't had a pre-season. I don't think he's actually... I've seen kind of Paddy Power just put like breaking news. Isak's actually turned up for a game of football.
Did you hear Arne Slot's?
Quite funny.
I thought Arne Slot's post-match interview was interesting.
I didn't hear it, no.
He was quite... I don't know what it was. He was interviewing someone from TNT. But they were just saying, obviously, Isak's made his debut, blah, blah. And he said, look, that was in the plan. We were always going to start him in this game. That was in the plan. And then they went on and said, well, obviously it's now becoming interesting. You got Ekitike, who's started the season pretty well. Isak's now come into the team. He pays a lot of money for Isak. What happens now? Do one of those players play out in the wing? He said, for me, they're both number 9s. They both play through the centre. He said Ekitike has plays on the left, and Cody Gakpo has shown that you can be 6 foot odd and still be an effective winger, but he's not the same winger as Cody Gakpo. If he's going to play in the wing, he'll be more like a second striker. So he's pretty much saying it's them two fighting it out for the number 9 position, which is
well, it's what we keep on saying, isn't it? Yeah. But I also think there'll be games where you'll almost have 5 attackers. You'll have Salah on the right, Gakpo on the left, Ekitike and Isak in the middle, and Florian Wirtz just behind them.
No way.
Why not?
I just can't see that.
So it's very open, like.
It is open, but I think he's
5-5.
But he's proved, I think, in the past anyway, he's like, and again, Fergie used to do it all the time. He's going, if we're going to get beat 1-0, I'd rather go and get beat.
I mean, maybe in the last 10 minutes if you're a goal down, but I can't see that being a...
It's not going to be a staple every week doing it.
No, but I can't see that being a team that he fields from the start in any game.
No, I'm not saying
maybe Burnley at home after the way they played.
Maybe, yeah.
More.
But like I say, we're playing Tuesday, kind of Saturday now anyway now. But I'm just saying he's got that there where if we are chasing the game, it's definitely there.
Yeah, and I think going back to the Man, you're right. Going back to the Man United comparison, he would throw 5 or 6 up front, to the end of the game just to try and outnumber the opposition. And
Slot said that after the Burnley game, didn't he? He said, I basically put every attacking option that I could possibly put on in that last 15 minutes.
Because that's the only way you can outnumber them, isn't it?
And I love the fact he's throwing Rio in again. I didn't think Rio would get any game time this season. I thought it'd be one of those where they look great in pre-season and then you don't see them again.
If I'm a fullback, I don't want to play against him. Regardless of his age or whatever, it's like, in the back of your mind, you're going, I don't want to be embarrassed by a fucking teenager.
No, I think he's another player, call it lucky or whatever, he's obviously a top talent, but I think if you're winning these games more routinely, I don't think he's getting as many minutes. I think if it's 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, going into the last 10 minutes, I don't think he's bringing on a kid. He's doing it to just create a bit of chaos. But
it's working though.
Oh yeah, it is.
He gets the ball and he's probably our most direct player. He just literally wants to dribble past you.
That's the rawness, isn't it? And you'd like to think he'll retain that, but unfortunately, football and history tells you that'll probably get coached out of him at some point.
If he goes to Man City, it bloody will.
Well, no, I think it just happens in general anyway.
No, if you can, it's that. That's that saying. It's the youth. The like you have no fear, do you? When you haven't got.
Yeah, but that's it, isn't it? I think the more aware you become.
You get, but yeah, excited about that. Probably last thing to mention on Liverpool was Simeone losing his head. I always think it's funny when a manager at Anfield loses his head. And listen, I'm gonna be biased, thinking it's a great atmosphere, especially the European nights. But I've seen Arteta lose his head. I've seen Mourinho there lose his head. I've seen Guardiola lose his head. I think when Liverpool get those late winners and the kind of crowd just feel like they're on you and it goes a bit raucous and all that.
I've lost my head plenty of times.
But whoever that fan is who's got that great photo of like Simeone's head's absolutely gone. He's
trying to go for him.
Brilliant. So well played for him. Let's move on to Everton then. So you went the game. You said a bit of a boring game. You battered them. Should have won.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't quite Burnley in the way that they approached it. Wasn't far off it. I wasn't going the game to see Villa, but I was looking forward to it being quite a competitive, end-to-end game. Honestly, mate, they were poor, really poor. They didn't offer anything. Couple of moments where they had a bit of possession in our final third, but apart from a deflected shot from Buendia, there was absolutely nothing. They didn't get close to scoring, and they put men behind the ball, tried to make it difficult, tried to deny us space in the wide areas to get crosses in, which has been probably our best source of attacking threat. And yeah, we had chances, and really early, like 2 minutes in, Beto misses a really good chance, comes across the box, and he just doesn't quite catch it.
Is it still a kind of frustration with him, is it?
I wouldn't say it's frustration. He's generally he's a decent finisher. He's just not like... And look, if you was to say to me now, Everton finish, whatever, 12th, 10th or something, which I think will be there or thereabouts, the difference between us and the top 8 or whatever will be the forward, centre forward.
The conversion of the chances.
From the forward. I think we've got players who will get us goals, but similar to Moyes had a similar problem, if you call it that, at West Ham, where Antonio was up there and he does a good job and he's a nuisance, but he's not a finisher. And in fact, I'd probably take Mikel Antonio over Beto in terms of what he offers off the ball. But yeah, he's had a couple of gilt-edged chances. Their keeper's made a few really good saves. I was gutted to see him in the starting lineup. They've had that other keeper in that they signed in the summer, but Martinez was back in, and he's a good keeper for me, and he made some really good saves. But
can't believe United never went for him. I think he's a United keeper all day.
Well, I think he's a very good keeper. He's
the personality as
well?
Yeah,
exactly.
I think everyone thought that, though. He thought that by all accounts. He gave a proper wave off at the end of the season.
It's like a Schmeichel type, do you know what I mean? Someone who's not to have a go with the defenders and all that, you know.
Definitely, yeah. And he was the difference. He was the only thing that stopped us winning the game, aside from a sitter from Beto. But
and if you're the opposition as well, he's horrible to play against. He's an absolute prick.
Argentinian, proper Argentinian.
So like, if he's in your team, you love it. But if he's not, you think absolute whopper.
Yeah. What was the reception like for Grealish?
Mixed. There was a few boos from them.
Really?
Yeah, which I found strange. Like I said last week, I'd spoke to one of their podcasts, and they were saying, all the respect for him. He's a legend for them, and blah blah blah. There's a few boos. Don't get me wrong. He went over at the end, and the fans who stayed behind give him a good clap. So there's always a few divvies, isn't there? And the argument is, they're against them on Saturday. They're trying to, make it difficult for them or whatever. But yeah, it was a mixed reception.
What I love, just off subject, I love it when like people, and it happens in life, doesn't it? Like that's I guess where racism comes from and things like that. But it's like when you just kind of, one person's a knob, and it's like that whole kind of fan base or that whole kind of religion or that whole people from country
get labelled as
Well, that's the thing.
Do you know what I mean?
Like this time last week, Gary had said, like, yeah, they're going to all be sound by all accounts, because the person I've spoken to, the representative of Villa that I've spoken to, said that it's going to be sound, and then the other fans are like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
We don't agree with
fans
you.
have had 6-8 pints.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's a rat.
Yeah. Listen, not a bad point though, is it?
No, not a bad point. And I say 99% of the fan base come out and went, you know what, we've went and tried to win the game. We've threw everything at them. We had our new signing come on who looked really good. Mail and roll, big German fella, like Fellaini-esque, but very good. Very good on the ball. Like, I think he was only on 20 minutes and he made more tackles than anyone on the pitch or twice the amount. So very combative midfielder. Just what we need, to be honest, in terms of a bit more physical presence in there. We've got, I think, the smallest midfield I've seen at Everton in about 30 years. You've got, James Garner and Garner Gay at the base of the midfield, and then you've got Grealish and Dye and Keenan Dewsbury Hall. So I think he adds a much needed physicality and height to that midfield. But that was a big positive, because we were kind of wondering what was he going to be like, how long is he going to take to adjust, but he certainly looks ready. Just on that then, before we get into the main one of this weekend, listen, 4 games in, you're 6th, 7 points. Given the start of last season, it's absolutely a dream start, really, isn't it? It's frustrating as well, yeah, you're right. We didn't play well at Leeds, but the way we conceded, obviously that penalty, and they come flying out the traps. We didn't do anything in the second half. We should have at least got a point from that game. And and we should have won at the weekend. I'm not being greedy. You're right. I think you definitely bite your hands off. I thought
if you had picked up a couple more points, you're sitting in the
paper,
top 4 then.
Well, on paper, it looked a tricky start. Like, I don't know what. They predicted like the difficulty of the start, and ours was one of the highest up there because we had Brighton at home, Villa at home, newly promoted Leeds away, Wolves away, maybe not as difficult, but it was a tricky start on paper, and obviously yourselves. So, yeah, I'd have definitely took that, and I think more so I'd have took the way that we've played and the way we've gone about things. The Leeds were on a side. We've went out and we've tried to win every game, and we've been on the front foot, and we've been good to watch. So I'm encouraged.
And before we get in, lastly, the Derby, just looking at the Prem, we both said Wolves, didn't we, would struggle. They're bottom with no points. The newly promoted teams, though, I mean, Leeds and Burnley 16th and 17th, but Sunderland's up to 7th. Interesting. Before we talk about the Merseyside Derby, we all actually went to watch the mighty Southport midweek, which was great. We've had a massive response with Dave and Kieran on the show last week. We are going to get more guests on, sport-related guests, probably try and do it once a month. So if there's anyone you want us to get on, give us a shout and we'll get them on, as I had loads of boss feedback from it. So last Saturday I went to watch Southport away to Ratcliffe, finished 1-1. Dubious penalty decision. Dubious. Penalty decision. Yeah, very harsh penalty they conceded away to Ratcliffe, which meant there was a replay, and then Kieran was good enough to host us in the corporate facilities at Southport, which is actually really good. Yeah. And I think it's about 60-70 quid or something, is it? I think.
They've got different packages.
Yeah.
They start at 60. The top end is 75 per
what was
person.
The bit that we were in at the top?
But just for the meal that we went to at the beginning, and
22 quid.
And a seat is 22 quid.
20 quid, unbelievable value, for that. Yeah. Really nice food.
Game of footy and food, like and a nice little
you're sitting downstairs in a nice bar. You get loads of nice food and stuff. And then you're sitting in 22 quid, incredible value considering you can't even get half a ticket at Everton for 22 quid.
Well, I think that's the big thing when you start comparing what you're getting at Southport to the likes of Liverpool and Everton. It's a no-brainer. And I think, right, I sound terrible. I'm on we do a sports podcast. I'm a massive Red, love Liverpool. If I'm being completely honest though, the match is an escape to see your mates. You get older, life gets in the way. How often are you seeing your mates if you don't go and watch the match? So if you're a bit like me, go to Southport, because I saw more of my mates at that watching a game of footy than I did when I go to Liverpool. When you're not all sitting together, you can't have a drink at your seat and have a chat. And there was about 15 of us all in that box, just all talking, having a laugh, wasn't there? So listen, if it's your thing, catching up with your mates over beer and watching a game of footy, genuinely get down to watch Southport or Marine, because it's a belter, and I know Kieran and that would love the support. So yeah, big shout out to Southport again.
And he won.
Yeah.
He went through.
He won 3-2 into the next round now with it's the second qualifying round, isn't it, I think?
And obviously we spoke to them at length last week, and he spoke about how, it's been a tough summer and pre-season and tough start to the season, but I watched them at the end of last season and it was horrendous watching. Like that. It was
good day,
they went forward, young lads, quick, athletic, direct, obviously at times a little bit lacking in quality at times, or composure in the final third, but that'll come because they are young players. But fair play to Danzy, he's got them playing attacking football, and the fans are enjoying it, and obviously it's great for them to get a win, and hopefully that'll be a confidence boost for them going into the...
So they got Morpeth in the next round, which is next Saturday. They are talking about putting a coach on. Yeah. So if anyone does actually want to go, get in touch with the pod.
Yeah, and hopefully it grows. We're going to try and do a bit of an affiliation with them almost. And even if it ends up getting a minibus from the Feathers up to Southport for the home games, or whether we try and do something like that. So yeah, if it is your thing, do drop some message and we'll send you more info, but get involved. On to the Derby, and one of the conversations that came up in the box last week is we were talking about Ndai, and I think Dodd, one of our mates, turned round and said he'd have Ndai in the starting 11 for Liverpool, which I disagreed with completely, but I think he was mentioning it.
I think it came from. I'm not going to open this can.
No, don't.
Came from Harvey Elliott, and someone said, "Would you take Harvey Elliott?" And I said, "I'd take him, but he wouldn't get in our starting 11."
And then I went, "Hang on, he'd be your best midfielder." And then I think Dodd said, "No, Ndai, I'd have Ndai." Which, listen, I've got Ndai in my fantasy. I do like him. I think he's a great player, but I think it's a mad shout to think he'd get in Liverpool starting 11. Do you reckon he would?
He obviously doesn't get in ahead. He plays at the moment. He plays on the right. His favourite position is behind the centre forward, like as
in front of Wirtz then, does he?
Well, at the moment he does. I'm sorry, he contributes more in the final third at the moment than Wirtz does. I'm not saying he's a better player than Florian Wirtz, but at the moment he gets in that team until Wirtz settles in and starts.
It's an interesting one. Yeah, I like him. I think he's a good player.
He's got pace. He's direct. He glides past players. Brilliant balance. Good at combine with people. Good finisher. But yeah, he's still got work to do to get onto that next bracket. But there's very few players in the Premier League I'd have ahead of him in our team at the moment.
Right, so onto the game then. 12:30 Saturday, horrendous time. I hate that the fact for the policemen and stuff like that, they're scared about people having a beer and trouble. 12:30 though, you just.
But it works the other way though, doesn't it? You've then got people on the ale all day, like really early to very late, and I think the problems then spill over later on in the evening, I would suggest. Whether they're thinking, okay, we can contain them there, and as they move in town, we contain them all there. And
they're also hoping that the fans that are on the losing side probably will drift off home a little bit earlier as well.
Go home, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not always going to happen, but there are going to be less fans after the game than before the game, because both sets of fans are excited, looking forward to it. They're both going to get on the ale, whereas some might go, I'll just beat there, can't be asked.
But I always think the atmosphere is terrible at an 12:30. Hopefully it being a derby, it'll be better, but I can just hear him next week. Oh, lad, I'm feeling atmosphere, crap. I'm putting my excuses in already at 12:30, so don't start moaning at me
Sounded
next week.
Just like you then, didn't he?
It is, yeah. I don't know.
Just looking at the record, the head-to-head, if we obviously, because it was a fake season, ignore the COVID season where there was no fans in.
Why? Just because we won?
Well, you beat us with no fans, so that doesn't really count.
So if that doesn't count, then there's a lot of things that don't count that season. So
we went into that argument before. But let's not go down that one again when we were 25 points clear. But anyway,
but we beat us. So why does that not count?
Because the season was pretty much done when COVID happened, right? But that next season, when the whole of the season got played behind closed doors, or the 3/4 of it, that's when you beat us 2-0. That wasn't a derby.
All right.
Come on, Gary.
All right. No, I didn't. I just said all right.
I'm not having it as a derby anyway.
Okay.
A derby is like passion. Everyone's like, rah, rah. You didn't have none. That was a training game that you beat us in. Fair play, you beat us 2-0. So apart from that game, I'm just looking back now. You haven't actually beat us at Anfield.
Kevin Campbell, 1999. 99, yeah.
I'm just going on. 99, yeah, 1-0. Was it Kevin Campbell?
Yeah, of course it was.
The stats...
Is that the Westerveld and Jeff as well?
Yeah.
It goes back so far, it doesn't actually come up the information on that. But it was the 27th of September 1999. Finished 1-0.
1-2 with Campbell and Jeffers, and Campbell puts it in the front at the cop end.
Well, you've had a few draws.
You've had a lot of draws.
The last draw was 2017. 2017 was the last draw. So you haven't done great there.
No, we haven't. Listen, just to get the negatives out the way, we haven't done great there. David Moyes has done even worse there. David Moyes has never won at Anfield.
Has he not?
21 games. I think it's 14 defeats and 7 draws. Never won at Anfield. So there's not a lot to be optimistic about when it comes to the history and the stats of not only the team but the manager as well. And it's the manager's stats that worry me more than the team stats, because this is a different team.
That's strange.
It's a very different team.
Because when I think of Everton and Moyes, like, that's when you...
During the periods when we had, Kales and Pienaars and Osman.
That's when I think of Everton and Moyes.
There was a lot of draws. I think there was about 5 draws in like the space of 7 seasons or something. But aside from that, early on in his tenure and under when he was West Ham manager, he's not got much change out of Liverpool and Anfield, and that's the bit that concerns me more than the team's record, because again, I think this is a very different team. I think this is a team with more character and personality, particularly with the personnel. Obviously, we spoke about Jack Grealish, but you've got players like Jude Puyol. I'm thinking Dyer, who's having himself. You've got Tarkowski, who's a big leader. The big miss for us is Jared Brandtwaite, and I know like he's been missing all season, so it's hard to say like, okay, that's just propped up. But before we get into it, I just don't see how we keep a clean sheet with Michael Keane going into an atmosphere like Anfield. He just has got so much form for going to bits under pressure, and he'll be under a lot of pressure. The only thing you could cling to is that Michael Keane's at his best when he's defending deep and we're defending the area, and it's like...
And he's got a bit more protection in front of him as well.
Yeah, this is our game plan. He can be exposed a bit more when we're a bit more expansive and he's got players up against him, but yeah, it's generally the atmosphere and the big occasion that gets the better of Michael Keane, and that's the one player I'm really, really worried about.
How's he been then in the new stadium with obviously the atmosphere, everyone's on a high? How's he been so far?
Do you know what? He's played well so far. He got man of the match against Villa. He's clearly a very popular person in the dressing room, and I think a lot of the players kind of do have a soft spot for him, and he sounds fucking mad. This just seems like a really nice fella. You know what I mean? He does, like, off the pitch, he does a lot.
Everyone seems to want him to do well.
Yeah, but he's just not
at that level all the time.
Yeah, he's not at that level, and I just don't think he's got the psychological tools to deal with the
elite pressure.
Yeah, and to answer your question, he's done fine this season. Struggled against Leeds like a lot did, and a lot of players did in that first half an hour. But since then, he's been okay. The obvious, if anything, Tarkowski struggles alongside him because he's not. Whereas Tarkowski can normally just come and go and dominate and win the ball and know that he's got someone quick behind him who's, technically good 1v1. He's having to pick and choose his battles because he knows that the player alongside him has got a lot less in his locker, and he's definitely struggled with that. But I think that the two things that worry me is the manager's inability. Listen, don't get me wrong, there's not many managers who've got a great record at Anfield, is there? But that's a particularly poor one. And he does have a tendency against the big sides in his first spell, and I don't think it's been a trend that's stopped at West Ham. Against the top sides away from home, it's like, let's get a draw, let's hold on to what we've got. And I'm not sure that's the best thing to do with this team he's got at the moment.
I think where you might struggle is if you kind of go into that, if it's an Atletico Madrid kind of game where we come out the blocks and we're 2-0 up after 10 minutes. I don't know whether Everton have got it in the locker then to try and pull the game back the way Atletico Madrid did.
If we go 1-0 down, I don't think we get a result. That might sound like a really negative comment, but I really don't, because you go 1-0 down that early, you're either going to have to go, let's stick to the game plan. We it's still only 1-0, but I think there's players like your Grealishes and who are going to be like, no, let's go and try and equalise. And I just think we might get caught between those two things, and I don't have any faith that we get back in the game if we go 1-0 down. I can choose.
One player I did want to discuss a little bit, because you spoke about Michael Keane maybe not always playing his best when the big games happen. Pickford, what is it with him and Liverpool? Like, he's someone I think who struggles.
Listen, you know my opinions on Pickford, and I've been vocal on this podcast and got a hell of a lot of stick for it. What I will say about him in the last 2 years, probably since I made them comments, he's definitely matured when it comes to not getting involved in too much of the carry on as he used to. Newcastle was a game that he always used to get sucked into, obviously used at Anfield. He's definitely come away from that a little bit. Moyes, when he first come in, was particularly like, you could see on the line he's having a go at him when he's trying to get involved in things that he shouldn't. But look, he's definitely one who can easily be sucked in, and hopefully he doesn't, because for me, you see the worst of him when he's in that frame of mind, because he's only one touch away from doing something daft.
It's a bit like the Ramsdale thing, where Ramsdale said, I don't always focus during the game, and it's like, that's the worst thing for a keeper to say.
I think it's like, but to his employer, like his manager's listening, it's like me working in an office and go, oh yeah, I
sometimes have a sleep.
Yeah, 1 till 2 and only have a little nap, don't do any emails. Like, that was the maddest shout I've ever heard.
Put me out of office on when I'm going for a brew, because it can't be arsed getting.
Me and Gary have a pint every day, I think, for 2 hours. I think as far as Liverpool concerned, I saw reports this morning saying Slot was surprised with the fitness of Isak. So I know the initial plan was maybe 50, 60 minutes to see how he is for the derby.
Don't think he starts against us.
I don't think he starts, but I think he probably comes on the last half an hour maybe.
I would say so, yeah.
Whereas I thought initially it would have been one or the other.
Depends though, doesn't it? I think, again, like we were saying,
depends on the game, yeah.
Yeah, like we were saying with Rio, I think if you're a couple of goals ahead, he probably resists the temptation till maybe 15 minutes to go. just as to not risk.
Whereas if he needs
fitness.
one, he's got going on the 60-minute mark maybe.
Honestly, I think it's a fascinating game because I really don't know how we're going to approach it. My gut is telling me, and knowing what I know about David Moyes, that he's going to be, cagey and stuff. But equally, I think he'll be more aware of that stat than anyone, that he's never won at Anfield, and he's at that age now. He's not got another 20 years in management. He's thinking this is as good a chance as any with the players he's got as disposal to win a game at Anfield, or to try and win a game at Anfield. He won't, he's also going to be very aware that the squad is in a good place in terms of the morale and motivation. He doesn't want to get a hiding, because nobody wants to get a hiding in Derby. I think it sounds mad this. If you offered Dave Moyes a 1-0 now defeat in a game where we played okay, I think he'd take it. Sounds mad. I do, and I'm not saying I'd take it. And again, I'll probably get people going, fuck off. Like, blah. I honestly think he's thinking, get this game out the way. We don't need all of the.
Yeah, and you're on a kind of good run. You're building something.
You get beat by the champions 1-0. It's like, look, all right, it's a derby. We were desperate to win, but we've not disgraced ourselves. We've been defeated by a team that are undefeated anyway. Let's carry on and let's crack on with games that.
Do you know, just to kind of feed into the story and the narrative of the season, given Moyes hasn't won at Anfield, and given Liverpool have had 5 almost last-minute winners, just imagine if you get a last-minute winner to break our record.
God.
And it's going to be Pickford who scores it.
Imagine that, though.
It couldn't be a bit, but
that just feeds into everything that's happened this season.
If we got a last-minute winner,
that purple flare is going back on the pitch.
Oh my God, yeah.
Do you know what though? In a mad way, obviously, it's the likelihood that happening.
Because I still have nightmares about that Origi one that Pickford makes a mess of. If we scored a goal like that, oh my God! And Moyes runs across the pitch like Klopp did.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Though, listen, we've just mentioned it. 5 last-minute winners, almost last-minute. Moyes has never won at Anfield.
Stuck me in though.
What a storyline that would be! It'd be absolutely heartbreaking, wouldn't it?
It'd be brilliant.
It'd make it worse if we won the league and we only got beat that game. That'd kill me. I'd hate that. We'd won the league and then you just could go, yeah, but we beat you though.
I'd take a derby loss if we won the league.
I'm trying not to get excited now. You've got me excited. You've sucked me in.
Yeah. But, I'm trying to think.
How do you feel about the game? What's your and obviously you're saying, look, it's great. We've won.
Do you know what?
Games.
And I'm not just saying this to try and kind of cover myself, but I didn't realise that stat on Moyes, so it maybe makes what I'm about to say now sound a bit stupid. But in my childhood, in my memory, from childhood derbies, I just always remember Moyes and it was Campbell and Cahill and
Goodison. We've won a few games at Goodison,
and I always just have a bad feeling about him in that sense. Whereas I've never really been that bothered the last few years. But so I do think he's going to make it tough how he shows up to defence and things like that. But listen, I think we should win. We should win, and I just hope, and I said it to the lads this week on the Madrid game, I think it will click for Florian Wirtz in the next few games. If it's against Everton, even better. But as long as the likes of McAllister, I think he'll come back in, as long as he keeps us cool. The likes of Robbo keeps us cool, looks like he might start maybe. Because I do think Everton are wind-up merchants in that sense as well.
I think the interesting battle is in the wide areas, I really do, for both teams. I think Everton generally, particularly on the boys, keep things tight centrally. It's hard. It's going to be hard to keep Gakpo and Salah quiet, and particularly if your full-backs bomb on as well.
But I think if you're going to get against us, I think it's down our left-hand side. You're right. I mean, you look at whether it's Kirkes or Robbo, both have been... Robbo last season, obviously a bit suspect. Kirkes hasn't started the greatest. Both of them are prone for yellow. I think if you can get down that right-hand side, that's probably the only reason, I think.
So's Bradley, though. Bradley's got a yellow. I
was going to say, the bet this weekend is
the
fullbacks to get booked.
Yeah, I've just seen a stat there on the referee. It's
and Bradley got booked again last night when he came on.
It's Darren England has been confirmed the referee. It could be more ominous for Liverpool, given Everton have only lost one of the 11 Premier League games that he's overseen. With the club winning on 4 occasions. He's refereed 5 Liverpool matches in the league, with the Reds winning 1, drawing 3 and losing 1.
My God.
The Toffees have received 25 yellow cards when officiated by England, and he has yet to have sent off any of their players, while the Reds have received 15 and no Reds. So yellow cards are the absolute
yellow cards are for the derby. I like in games like this as well. I'll just throw loads of singles on different players.
Yeah.
And a bit of a bet builder on maybe 3 out of the 6 that I put on. But I think the fullbacks, I think Gravenberch or McAllister, maybe even both of them to get a yellow. Because what he'll end up having to do, I don't think it'll necessarily be Gakpo, but certainly on that side, it would be Salah. Salah doesn't really track back, does he? So it'll be one of your midfielders who will end up doubling up. And what Nzai loves to do is he likes to pull 2 in and then just try and go through the middle of both of them. And that's where you'd end up getting one of them just pulling him back or tripping him.
But if my maths is correct there, he's done 5 Liverpool games and it looks
3 cards a game.
Yeah.
3 cards a game for you, 2.5 cards a game for us.
So, yeah. More interesting. What's his name, Darren England was the leading VAR official in Liverpool's infamous 2-1 loss against Tottenham when Diaz's goal was incorrectly ruled offside.
Wow.
So he's not give us many. We've not had many victories when he's been referee. You've had quite a bit. He's give out
sending off would make it really interesting.
He's given kind of 2 or 3 cards on average a game, and he fucking hates Liverpool.
I'm gonna say that'll make it a better. You know, if you've got a man sent off, maybe half an hour in, I think it makes it a really good game because Moyes can't then go, let's just sit back and take the draw. He's got to go for it. Arne Slot isn't the type of manager to go, let's bring another defender on. No, so he'll probably go, let's just play, yeah.
And that might happen because clearly Darren England hates Liverpool, clearly.
Here we go.
Lad, he was the main guy when...
That's the only reason you've won. Darren England, who sent a man off. I know as he heard it.
He was head of VAR when that goal got ruled out for offside.
Head of VAR? He was the VAR.
That guy, he was the main guy, that guy. That day.
He was the VAR, yeah, not the head of VAR. He wasn't like sitting above like a load of VARs.
He was leading the VAR officials.
He was just the VAR, wasn't he?
No, he was the main. Yeah, they have like 3 people in Stockley Park, don't they? And he's the main one. And he's went.
He's the voice.
Yeah, and he's went. Saying, yeah. Oh yeah, it was offside. That. Oh yeah, it's alright. Fuck it, play on.
Good process.
Seems like a good guy.
So yeah, that's a one little thing I'd be maybe a little bit concerned with. But on the other hand, I think, listen, if Isak is a little bit fitter than maybe Slot thought, whether it's half an hour or not, I think I'm just kind of waiting for us to click and have that game where we're 3 or 4-0.
What's your prediction?
I think I could be 3-0. I think
3-0.
Yeah, I think 3. I can't see you scoring. I said it all last season. Yeah, you've been a lot better this season, but I just still think that'll be the one reason that you don't get the success that you maybe want this season, because you just can't score goals. You've got them from midfield, but I think our midfield's great. Did you see Gravenberch last night? Oh, he is an unbelievable player. How he does that half turn and just gets away. I think McAllister, that's nasty, he's got in there. I think we'll win the midfield battle, although I've said it, I'm a big fan of Ndiaye and Grealish. I just think our midfield is a lot stronger than yours. Therefore, you won't get the play up to your forwards. And even if you do, I don't think Beto's anything that Van Dijk and Konate can't handle. The last
game in Anfield would suggest that that's not the case.
But Konate's played well the last couple of games as well, though.
Has he?
I thought he played well last night and at the weekend.
Against nothing. Weekend. What was the other thing?
He's doing what he's had to do, hasn't he?
You'd be surprised if 15% of the time you were even in your half. So he should play
Scratch what I just said then against Burnley. He never had to do nothing. But Atletico Madrid, he was all right. And yeah, anyway, if you do have chances, I think it's easy enough for them to defend. And again, the positives going forward, I think with that attacking kind of lineup, I think it'd be really hard for you to do what kind of Burnley done and just kind of hold it for 90 minutes. I
hope and I don't think that happens. I really don't. I just don't think.
You think he'll be more on the front foot?
Yeah, I just don't think it sends out the right message to the players he's brought in and the message he's sent to the fans since he's arrived, which is like, look, we're going to go and compete. We're going to go and attack. Don't get me wrong, he's not stupid. He's not going to go and try and go toe-to-toe with you, but I don't think he's going to try and do a Burnley. Maybe the first 20 minutes, he's more pragmatic and like, look, let's allow the atmosphere to just die down a little bit. Let us settled into the game. But I think we've got too many players in that team that have got too much pride to just sit there and soak it up for 90 minutes. I completely disagree with you. I don't think there's a scenario where we don't score unless we go down to 10 men or unless it gets an hour in and it's 0-0. And at that point, Moyes goes, you know what, we'll take the draw. I don't see how we don't score.
Really, yeah.
Just watching the way you defend and the way you attack and the way you commit players forward, I just think there's too many gaps and too many areas, and I think we've got three players at least who will take a player out the game by beating them and create more overload. So, yeah, I think we definitely score. My head's saying 1-1, maybe even 2-1 to use, but I'm gonna go with 2-1 to Everton, and
2-1 Everton.
A historic win at Anfield that
for Everton and Moyes
kicks off the shift.
No, I'm gonna go 3-0. I think a couple of early goals and then one in the second half just to seal the deal.
I think you'll get a man sent off.
Wouldn't surprise me, that referee. Blaming him already. No, and I think it'll be. I think Wirtz. I think he's on the brink of having a really good game. I thought he played great against Madrid, although he never got what he deserved. Maybe I think the derby could be the one, and it wouldn't surprise me again. Isak or Ekitike getting off the mark again. You think, Musk?
I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool, and I do think there might be a sending off 2 yellows.
I think there'll at least be 3 yellows in the game going off him. That referee. There'll probably be a dodgy. If you do get a goal, it'll probably be a dodgy penalty.
It'll be Guy or Garner who ends up getting 2 yellows, probably on the back of Wirtz. You know, his movement.
McAllister 100% getting booked.
Oh, all day, yeah.
And who do you reckon for yous? Keane, maybe.
Guy will get booked. Garner will probably get booked. Keane, I don't know. It depends how high we defend it. If he's got
to be close enough to the action to get booked.
I don't think he's going to want to be man. He's not going to want to be man to man, or right up against Ekitike, or it'll be Tarkowski will get booked. It'll be him. He'll be the one who has to mark tight to one of them forwards, and it'll be one of them where he lays it off, they try and spin, and he just goes woof. So Tarkowski booking.
Okay, nice little bet builder there. So yeah. Do the game as well. By the way, why is the Champions League on a Thursday night now? You seeing that?
Yeah, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh.
When's the Europa League going to be on?
Must be 1 week on, 1 week off now or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe.
I actually don't know.
Maybe. No.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but then it goes on Arsenal, Man City as well at the weekend. So if we can get 3 points there against Everton, 15 points, and then obviously they slip up, the league could look pretty sexy Monday morning.
Or not.
Last thing to say as well, not really that we care about it, but did you see the Premier League, the internationals next season? Instead of doing 2 the way they do now, they're just going to have one long, I think it's a 3-week break.
Is that in October?
September, I think. So you play 3...
I just don't understand why they haven't done it in October. Like, I get...
You play 3 games, don't you? Then they have a break, but they're going to have like an extended break now.
But they should do it in October. Like, the players have obviously had a pre-season, they've come flying out the traps, they've already played quite a few games in a short period of time. Do it in October and give them a bit of time to, like, almost like a mini... I'm
glad though, because I'd rather just get it out the way.
I would, but I think it's too early. The players have only just got in the stride from pre-season. I think it's more likely to cause injuries. I think it's a daft decision.
And very, very, very last thing, Meatball Molly won in the boxing. Did you see her opponent kick her?
Yeah.
It was mad, wasn't it?
She said, didn't she imagine that was me?
Oh God, she would have got slated. Yeah. And then you obviously had Crawford done a number on it. Not the most exciting. I mean, if you're a proper boxing purist, it was a good fight, wasn't it? But
it was always going to be that way, wasn't it? And the biggest fights with the best boxers very rarely produce action.
Yeah. But I watched it the next morning. Good fight, and fair play.
Canelo was really graceful in the
fight. Very humble one. Yeah. Right. That is us. Massive, massive, massive thank you again to Peter Jackson and Hill Dickinson. Like I said, you'll be hearing more from them in the next few weeks. Big thank you to everyone who's watched the show. Please, again, like, comment, share, suggest it to your friends, and we will see you all next week.
Right, I need to